So Zach, tell me, what was it like to hear yourself in the podcast? Is this the first one you've done, right?
Yeah, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought. Yeah, honestly, the conversation we had listening back, because I feel like when you go into that state, you kind of forget even what you say. And it was just really in flow. Like I almost had to write a few things down after and like take my own advice, just like listening to the experience. Yeah.
You gave yourself your own healing session. I hope you paid yourself too.
Oh yeah. It honestly though, like it felt amazing. It felt really nice to just get it out, share it with everyone. Allow other people to like take whatever they want from it or
Hmm.
whatever they resonate with. And yeah, just to be like heard and seen and felt, I feel like it was, yeah, like thank you for holding that space to get that out there.
Of course. I really enjoyed listening back to it, and it was your reading too. That was the most interesting part for me because you had the section in it where you just said that your life has shifted. Um, you've gone on this journey rapidly. Every single day, things keep changing. And you're right, man. Nothing is the same. Nothing is the same. It's completely different. I've shed this layer of I gave up political discussions, political debate, anything along these lines because they were just lower vibrational situations. They were dragging me down and I was leaving them just drained and feeling completely awful about myself mostly and feeling like nothing was accomplished. So, in just telling myself that, speaking that spell out loud, saying, I'm done, no more of this, I'm going to just choose to not engage. And I just felt incredibly liberated. It was
Yeah.
just this weight was lifted off of me, and I know I don't have to deal with that anymore. And I've just felt so great ever since that.
Yeah. And it's fast. I feel like you have no template, right? And you're just going to keep opening up the space and the doors to literally recreate your own life and fill that space with a proper match to what you're actually wanting. Yeah, that's so cool. I feel like there was a lot of information to integrate after that to kind of digest it for a month and then things start to click and make sense.
Yes, of course. And my good friend Sapano, if he's still watching, I'm gonna give him a shout out. He's taught me a lot about being a heart-centered being, about just focusing on that heart space. I think it was also from him that I learned that the heart has 5,000 times the strength of your brain in an electromagnetic field. Like there's so much activity that goes on in the heart space in your heart center that you can't really explain, but like this is your real guide. That's where you know where things are true to you, when things are resonating with you, when you're on that right path. And I was talking to him last night and I was buzzing, like buzzing. I was high. I was like, when I took mushrooms like 5 years ago, and I was lying in a park, like feeling all this love and connectedness with everything. I felt a more intense feeling of that last night, and I was just completely sober.
Yeah. Yeah, it shows you that that energy is available all the time. Especially when you're opening up and you're channeling it properly and you step into your power again and you're really creating and the energy gets flowing, the motion happens, like you actually create your own supply. And it's just a matter of remembering how to feel it and tap into it again and create from that source of energy, which comes from you. Yeah.
It's and the formless substance, the space where everything is, the empty space where everything exists. It's so real when you tap into it, and it's unlike anything else I've ever experienced. And it's just, yeah, like it's shifted. Things will never be the same.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool.
And what about yourself? Since we last saw each other, which I guess was a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
what have you been up to? Have you been getting some new clients? Have you been doing some readings, connecting with new people? How's it going for you?
Yeah. It's been a lot of a lot of integration. I feel from the podcast that we did, it just unlocks so many um, energies in me. Like it brought up a lot of like my own fear about being seen and heard and known and stepping into my own power and understanding that I can create the reality I want to. And all of just like the old programs, just from being raised the way that I was, understanding it's like your nervous system or your body has these responses automatically. And a lot of fear was coming up and telling me, like, no, don't do this. And it's a matter of saying, no, I want to do this and moving through it and allowing myself to heal from it. So having that experience with you, it was so opening, um, to just be myself and to kind of move through it. It was very empowering. And then since then, it's just been, yeah, like guiding people, helping people. I've noticed too, now that I've created more than just like being a hairstylist and offering readings or sessions to people, whether it's in like coachings or intuitive readings. At the end of the day, it's just like holding space for someone to see themselves and to also talk and express and be acknowledged and have the breakthroughs they're needing to maybe see things that they're holding on to or programs that are almost controlling them, and me holding space to help them move through it. So I'm excited to like go to the salon to go back and see kind of just like the shift in energy, because everything is so heavy right now, but I
Hmm.
feel like it's just so in depth. Like hair is, beautiful, and it's outward appearance of yourself. And I love being able to help people with that energy and transformation and like bring that up within them to feel like themselves, but taking it one step further and also being passionate about the inner work as well. And I feel like a lot more people are on this journey and understanding how important it is to start doing this work, which is basically just connecting to your energy again, right? And a lot of people are speaking about it now and talking about it, and it just feels really empowering. So it's kind of the same as you. I feel like I'm shedding a lot of those layers or things that I know I don't need anymore. And in the moment it's very fearful, but knowing and trusting that the next step will be receiving an experience or opportunities that are more of a match to your energy and where you're actually wanting to go and where you're actually wanting to grow. So it's been kind of very obvious. I feel like I'm just like showing up and things just keep happening, which is so cool.
That's it.
Yeah.
You shed those layers and you commit to that higher frequency, and then you only attract things that are in tune with that. And then everything is so much easier. You're not fighting with yourself. And
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that you transmuted your fear into courage. You took what you were scared of and you said, no, not today. I'm gonna turn that into something and empower myself with it. And I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah, that was a huge lesson. I didn't realize how connected fear for me was blocking my courage, and how really just being vulnerable and moving through it is like so powerful and strong enough to override all of the lies or the stories. And it's also challenging because we're human and your body has that natural response to you. So even if you're like prepared to work through it, your
Yeah,
body's still experiencing it. So I feel like it takes a while to kind of reprogram the body to be like, no, you're safe, don't worry. But in the moment, it's like sweating and, just nervous and whatever. But it's a lot, it's heavy, but it's a part of the process.
yes, of course. And this is, I guess, a bit of an unrelated question, but I'm genuinely curious as these past few days, like middle of the day, something like 3, 4 p.m., I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I am like I'm taking naps. I'm unintentionally taking naps. I'm falling asleep. I still got a good sleep. I got a good amount of sleep. I've been doing the same things I usually do, but I've just been tired, and I'm wondering what's your take on that? Have you been feeling anything like that? Have you noticed anybody else saying this? I mean, it just been dozing off in the middle of the day.
Yeah. Uh, Yeah, it's so funny. I feel like what you're experiencing is totally valid, and it's been probably like a week or so I've been feeling it too, where all I want to do is just be a kid again and just like dance and draw and create and have nap time and have snacks and have no responsibility. You know, it's just like stepping back into that energy. But also when things are shifting like this, and I feel like a lot of people's foundations have been shifting. It feels like there's been a lot of restructuring happening, and it takes time. Your body needs to rest and it needs to integrate. So it's it's a lesson now to not avoid napping or sleeping because that's just not what you do during the day. And it's like, no, your body is literally saying, hey, we're downloading so much right now. So many things are shifting, go to sleep. Even if it's like a 20-minute nap, it's like honor your body. It's going to tell you what to do. But it's funny. I was talking to a friend about this yesterday because we were both like, do you want to take a 20-minute nap? And we like went for a little snooze because we were both so tired. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to go back and work after this. Like, all I want to do is nap right now. But at the end of the day, it's just like honor your body and your energy and what you're feeling. So yeah, I feel like I said, there's a lot of energies right now where it's the relationships and the structures are shifting, and a lot of that dense heavy weight is being shifted. And I really feel like sleep is so healing, and that's why it's so important to honor your body and your feelings and act accordingly.
Yeah, that's it. It's true. It's not resisting that feeling because it's just like I'm so tired that like fighting through this makes no sense. Like my eyes are like closing. It's like, all right, I'll sleep. I don't know why, but it's like, all right, I'll sleep. But I think yeah, it's been a lot of downloading. And there was actually I had a download the day we we hung out, you, Janet, and I, when I got back that night. Pretty sure it was that night. Anyway, I've been conflicted with, I guess not conflicted, but I was really dabbling with round earth and flat earth. It was really it was like I don't know why, but it was just weighing on my brain a lot and I was really trying to not think about it. I'm like, this is stupid. It doesn't actually matter to me. I don't know why, but it's still there. And then there was just this download and I realized what it was. And it was telling me to get used to questioning the reality that you're in. It's a metaphorical exercise to get you to question your reality, to perhaps prepare you for learning something that would shake your whole world. It's not this frisbee in space, you know? It's not about that. And it also, people that buy into the either side of it, spear or flat, they play into this polarity. They play into this polarity that literally suppresses spiritual awakenings. It suppresses feeling in tune with things. And I realized that's all that it was. That's the whole purpose of this whole flat earth thing is just question your reality and get used to questioning it because it's just going to help you awaken, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And it's about neutrality. It's not about picking a side or
Exactly.
agreeing to one thing or another. It's yeah, exactly what you said. Question everything. It doesn't matter. uh, Stay neutral. And also, the going back to the feelings you were talking about, those are what I call like ascension symptoms. And usually when it's like a heavier energy that our bodies are integrating, it's like you get really sleepy, or it's the opposite, like you can't sleep at all during the night, you're like tired all day and then you're just wide awake, or you almost have like cold like symptoms, like your hands are super cold, you get headaches, or you can get shaky. And these things will just like hit you like waves and come out of nowhere. Sometimes it feels almost like anxiety, or like kind of like your nerves are being shot up, but there's no reason for that to happen. And that's usually a great time when it's like, yeah, like sit down and meditate or have a nap. Like your body is trying to like process right now. So either sleeping or like going internal to understand and question and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Builds a whole other relationship with your being and your energy. And like how you were saying, you were feeling that energy, and like as if you're on mushrooms, it's like a way to just connect to your energy and receive information through your feelings. It's more than just anxiety or being emotional. There's information to be decoded and unlocked when you learn how to listen to your being, which is very cool. But yeah, this world is polarized, and it's about not subscribing to either channel. It's about staying connected to one pure source, which is you, and going back to you for what you're needing to learn, or else you're just playing the game. You're getting too caught up in either side, and you're missing the whole point. The whole point is
Hmm.
just to be in the moment, because it doesn't matter what the answer really is, whether in this case, like, yeah, either it's flat or it's round. um, it just is a reminder to come back to your being, stay in alignment. And I think this is really important, that there's a balance between being in your body and being in your energy and having that pure connection to God or source or whatever you want to call it, and also having the communication with your own self, as well as the knowledge, and being able to kind of use your discernment to really feel what's being said, as opposed to make a mental decision. It's about the resonance. So refining it down, it always comes back to energy and what you feel.
Absolutely. I want to. I guess I'll make another reference to Sapano. He made this comment one time. He said that doing your own research is going inward and checking with your heart center.
Yes.
And like it's not on the internet like looking up different articles and opinions and statistics and stuff. It's like no, doing your own research is checking with your heart center and seeing how it feels. And I
Yeah.
see a question from Louis Z about downloads and what it means to each one of us and what it looks or feels like. And I guess I can answer that question at first, sort of, because this is a great question. I've actually never been asked this before. A download, it's just first I just get this I get a buzz of energy in my chest, in my heart center. It's usually how it starts when I'm pondering something. And then I start to get this buzz in my chest, and that's when it's like, okay, I don't know, things are starting to click. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's usually some kind of, for me, with the flat earth, that was something that had just been on my brain for a while. And then just that night, I got this buzz in my chest, and I had to sit down and pull out my notebook, and I was just like, I don't know, something's coming to me. I don't know exactly what it is or why it's arriving, but I feel something, and I sit down with the paper and I just relax and wait, and then it's just there, and it makes sense because that vibration in your chest just then expands because you realize you just received truth. You just and you accepted it because you went inward, you did your own research, you asked your heart. And that's what a download is for me. You feel this truth, this vibration in your heart, and things just make sense to you after that.
Yeah, you described that so well. And I feel the same way. Like, your heart is the brain, it's the a second brain, whatever you want to define it as, but it's a resonance and it's a frequency. And when you're picking up on downloads or vibration, because you're aware and you understand what you're feeling and you learn how to interpret them. That's what I was saying before. There's so much information that you can unlock from your feelings. Um, Downloads for me, yeah, they're kind of like realizations and or thought forms that I'll be thinking, and I'm aware that I'm thinking them, but I wasn't thinking about anything. So I'm just kind of observing my thoughts. And because I'm aware of them, I can connect them to my heart and my feelings, and like kind of ask myself, like, why am I thinking this? And usually, as I ask that question, it's like you're a Google search engine, and then it just like pulls up all the things, right? And you can just like keep going further and further with yourself, because you're asking more and more questions. But you're really just like developing this practice of like checking in with yourself and being aware of your thoughts and your feelings. So when you're receiving downloads and this information, it feels like someone drops off a package to you in your brain, and you open it up, and there's like all these different things and different ways to view things, and it's like a higher perspective. But it's cool because for me, I'm usually aware, and I know that I wasn't thinking anything. So At first you can feel a little crazy for sure, and then you kind of just get used to it. But yeah, you want to like journal or write it down, and it's like these sparks of inspiration, like energy just surges through you and you have to get it out, whether it's like dancing or moving or journaling in whatever form that is. You're just putting that into practice, which is really cool.
Absolutely. And I feel with the downloads, it's not, you never really, it's not about striving to receive that information. It's mostly about clearing room for it to arrive because, like you said, you don't really have a say in it. It just arrives and you're just like, oh, okay, I need to set that down and open it up and see what happens. It's about creating that space, and you create that space by shedding those negative layers, those lower vibrational frequencies. You get rid of those because they're just dragging you down, and they clog up your energy. They clog up your circuits. They clog up everything inside you, that there's no room for these downloads to arrive. So really, it's just about clearing space for them, and then they'll show up when they show up.
Yeah, like those dense energies create a lot of noise and a lot of static and silence your mind. Did I just freeze? Did I go somewhere?
No, you're good.
Sorry. Oh, okay, my Wi-Fi keeps kicking out. When you create that stillness and you create room to actually hear and to listen, and you learn how to listen through your feelings, because you've stopped feeding into, yeah, certain consciousness that is either like victimhood or the same thought patterns or the same habitual things that you do where you're kind of on autopilot or you're kind of unconscious throughout your day. And that's why it's so important to start practicing just being and being present and like remembering your day and the conversations and the colors and the people so that you can be more aware of your reality, so that when you are receiving information like this through your heart center, your feelings, you have all these other senses that you can now give time and energy to because you've created that space, and cleared for them to finally uh, come into your being. There's room for them.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Quieting,
a great
going
question.
inward, traveling inward. That is that was the one thing I took away from our podcast when I realized, listening back to it, that it was like, wow, I didn't I realized back then that traveling inward is, that's the portal. That's where the entrance to everything is. It's because you are everything. It's and when you
Yeah,
travel inward, it's just this whole external, it feels like an external world opens up, but it's all inside you because you are everything.
yeah, yeah. And you're developing a deeper relationship with your being and a deeper level of thinking and expansion. And this information's juicy, when you start developing that connection, because you again have like created that space and you're shifting your reality and you see your own power and your own energy and how it's reflected back to you. It becomes a practice and a way of being that, um, no one can take away from you, and you start to feel this like interconnectedness with everything and everyone, and you realize like your soul is on your own journey. And even having these conversations, they're so activating because again, words are just energy in this form. So for people that hear what we're saying, it's not about the words, it's about the resonance. And that alone is so activating. That's why it's so powerful to speak your truth, because you feel that from other people, or you'll feel it click in your brain, or you can have goosebumps. Whatever your feeling is, it's a knowing. And again, it's like trusting that knowing, which is very much heart related. There's no overthinking or overcomplicating or any rationalizing. It's like you just know and you feel the truth. And no one can take those feelings away from you. And it's so powerful to resonate at a certain level where other people that, let's say, are not as open or not as connected with their being, it's just words to them. It's perceived in more of a physical manner, where other people that are more open will receive that resonance in more of an activating way. So words are power. That's why it's so important to like really get clear with what you want and speak it and create it.
It's casting spells, and that's why it's called
Yeah.
spelling. Think that might be a Bruce Lee quote. I'm not exactly sure, but you're absolutely right, and that's why it's
Yeah.
also so important to watch what it is that you say and be very careful about what it is you say. Make sure you only say things that make you feel powerful, that make you feel that vibrating feeling in your heart. That those are the things that you want to speak. Those are the spells that you want to cast because this energy is always at work. It's always at play. And if you're constantly saying these bad things about yourself, you're manifesting that and you don't even realize it. You're casting those spells in a negative way. And that's why it's so important to watch what you say, especially and when other people say negative things about you, you can feel it sometimes. It hits like whenever I get or when people think I'm crazy or they think that I'm going off the deep end when I'm kind of getting very when traveling farther and farther inward, they think I'm kind of losing it.
Mhm.
That it hurts. It hits deeply. It's like that's why are you manifesting that at me? Why are you projecting that at me? Because that's not where I am. This is the most clear I've ever felt.
Yes. Yeah. And a lot of people are unaware of what they are creating energetically because they only have a physical perspective about it. So they don't even understand what they're putting out into the space. And that's how I see it. You know, we're all energy here, being and taking up space. And if your being is really negative or stuck at a level of consciousness that's negative, or it's more of a victimhood or poor me, it's those unconscious behaviors and patterns that you get stuck and trapped into, and it's always so real to them but such an illusion in actuality, and it keeps you stuck and it prevents your growth. And that's where this work is so powerful, because when you understand how powerful your energy is and your being and the growth and expansion you come here with, you are so much more conscious of what you're creating from your words and your actions, um, that you can literally move mountains because you understand. And the energies now, like I was saying, like the foundations are really shifting with people. And I feel like there's a huge focus on relationships and like family dynamics. And it's been like the last 2 weeks this has really been changing. And I'll just share something kind of vulnerable with you, but the last 2 weeks, it's been a lot for me about understanding, whoa, this is my earth family. And we sign up with different people. We have contracts with people. And I was like, why are you saying that? Like, that sounds like it's not compassionate at all. And I was like, no, this is compassionate. And it is compassion for humanity. And it's the souls that you sign up with, that you play out these dynamics with to help each other's energy grow and get to a point where you can again attract the next lesson or the next person, and you're meant to be in motion and to be moving. So I was asking, like, why is this happening? And I kept seeing like a house with like a crack in the foundation, and it's like any foundation that is not fully stable or secure in the dynamic of family, is being removed. All of these lower dense energies are shifting. So it's no more labels of like, this is my mom and this is my dad. It's like, you are a soul and you are other beings helping one another. So moving out of anything conditional and seeing each other as who they truly are and what you truly have to offer one another, as opposed to living in a limited reality where this is who they are to me and this is how it's always been. So this shift happens where it's almost like it feels like it's like an emotional maturity, and it's less about the physicality of your life and it's more about yeah, the growth and expansion. So I don't know, I feel like there's been like a lot of family drama. Other people can like comment if they've been going through it, but it's just like the dynamics of family are really shifting. And it's because if there's any limitations, it's being brought up right now. And that's not what you came here for. So a lot of us are kind of like way showers. And because we are so empathic, it's like, how do we hold space for people that are so unconscious of the energy that they're creating? And how do we hold space for taking that on and creating those boundaries, especially being super empathic? It's like, I can't take this energetic abuse anymore. So we have to figure out something, and holding that space for someone as they're going through it. And that's that compassionate aspect, and understanding that we're all here helping one another, even if you don't realize it or not. And that also plays into the duality, like we were talking about, that polarization. It's like you need both in a sense to function, but you don't need that abusive aspect. That's where the growth happens, and the boundaries, and understanding that there's progression that's needed. So that's kind of like what I've been picking up on this week. And that's why I feel like it's been heavy and like lots of napping and snacking and just like clearing like dense energy, because where we're moving, you can't bring that level of attachment or that level of heavy, dense energy moving forward, because it's being created into that vibration of love. So what we're really just feeling is uh, energy that's not in resonance to us. And whether that's your family judging you or guilt tripping you or projecting whatever it is that they're projecting, it's just unhealed aspects and unconscious aspects of them, um, using your energy, because you are able to hold that space for them, because you live in a higher frequency. And it's like light in the dark that attracts all the bugs. And for some reason, it's like, why do I attract these experiences? Or why does this person feel comfortable treating me this way or telling me this? So that's again where it's like, step into your power. You create your family, you create your foundations, and it's about the energy that exists in your family, not about the labels or who you were born into. Because a lot of us are growing and moving on and like needing to lead by example. So in order for that to happen, it kind of feels like this death and rebirth process right now, where you have to allow the people you love and like let them go. They're on their own journeys. And again, that creates that space and in the physical form to bring in higher energies to literally recreate and restructure your foundations.
Oh yeah, that's I need to bask in that for a while, because that is exactly what's happening with me at this moment. I'm trying to learn. I don't know how to articulate myself and how I feel right now to my family. I don't know how to put it into words when the response usually is, what is this? Are you in a cult? Are you losing it? Are you, what's going on? You need to keep your head on your shoulders. Like, I'm worried about you, you know, this. And it's like I've never felt more connected to everything and more clarity than I have right now. So these naps, these draining feelings, this knowing that, okay, I need to confront this and I need to create these boundaries and I need to create space for them, because I still have unconditional love for them. I will never not feel that. So it's a wow, it is a difficult task moving forward. I guess I am a little bit scared, knowing that I need to set these boundaries and know that um, I'm confronting people who I know love me, and I know that they're saying these things to me out of a place of love, that they're worried about me. But just the energy behind the words, it feels like it's poisoned inside me when I hear it. And it's so difficult to say these things and to still feel neutral, to still feel relaxed, to still feel like, you know what, I know that this is coming, but I'm gonna just push that aside and I'm gonna keep moving forward with love.
Yeah.
And and just I think just not anticipating it, but also just knowing that I have to face that is perhaps making me feel tired all the time. And it's amazing that you pick up on that a lot of people are feeling that perhaps you're dealing with that, because that has been the energy in the air for the last few weeks. There's no question.
Yeah. And it's only going to intensify. And it's like the brighter you shine, the more you attract, or the higher you go, the more people or those relationships try to bring you back, because it's taking everyone out of their comfort zone. And it creates a lot of change, and a lot of people don't want to lose that. It's interesting because as you were talking, it was making me think, it's your definition of love, and that's like where this emphasis is coming from, is what is love to you? What is your definition? And you are a reflection of that with who you allow in your life and how you allow yourself to be treated physically, emotionally, mentally. And you feel all of that from your family and what they're saying. And a lot of that is not a match anymore, because when you've grown and expanded and you are living more in the heart space, within more of a pure connection, that love frequency, you'll immediately feel when something's off. And you're like, I know you love me, but I'm also feeling a lot of judgment or a lot of your own egoic belief that you're projecting onto me to try and shape me or prove to me. And that's not love, right? That's not where this is coming from. So when you're a being that like lives in that energy, and then you're dealing with a lot of like mental ego energy that's just kind of combative and needs to prove themselves and like bring that into your being, it's like, I'm sorry, but I actually don't have time for that anymore. And it's okay to say no, and it's okay to create space and boundaries. But yeah, to walk on eggshells or to hold space for people that bring conditional love into you, it's not love, and it's a matter of being truthful. It's like, you don't love me if you can't see me or hear me or know me or hold space for me, respect my energy. Again, we don't live in that duality and that polarity. It's like we're living in a loving neutral place. So when these energies come to you, it's like, I'm sorry, but I can't pick a side, or I can't be who you always have thought I have been. I've grown. This is who I am now. Like, they don't see the progression or hold space for that aspect of you. It's always trying to limit you and hold you into a past version of you, or how they see you in your eyes. But as your identity changes and you step more into your being, these adjustments need to be made. And that's why I was saying, like, it's going to get kind of aggressive. This is the start of that dynamic shifting and happening, is with ourselves first, sitting in that energy, and then knowing when it's not a match. And then what do you do in that case, especially when it's with the people that you've known the longest, that are a part of you. So to me, it feels like this energy of completion. It feels like a lot of contracts, is what I call them, are being completed. Understanding it's the next phase is how I see it. This is the next chapter of a book that has not been written. So pick who you would like in your life to help support you and help you grow and influence your growth. Or are they just going to hold and pull you back? And what adjustments need to be made if that's the case? I love you so much that I actually need to create these boundaries and yeah, create space. Or again, it's just going to stunt your growth if you go back to the way you've always been. We're kind of
That's
living in
it.
like the unknown right now. So like, dive into that energy with the people you want beside you.
That's it. Set the boundaries, and you will see, and their love will show that they should respect them. That respect the boundaries that I've set will, that to me, that's the, I feel love from that. And it's this feeling that I can't express myself, that I'm being constrained. That's the hardest part for me. Usually I can take, it's okay if people don't agree or believe in what I'm saying. That's usually fine. But as soon as I feel like I can't express how I feel, then it becomes very constraining, and that's where I know things need to shift, things need to change.
Yeah, yeah, it's huge. It has to be it has to be the way moving into the love frequency. You have to be willing to let go of any conditions. And that feeling you're talking about is, yeah, it feels like your energy is being strangled, and it's uncomfortable to be around. And to be honest, it's like uncomfortable to be around a lot of family, because you can't be yourself, or they hold you, like I said, to a certain version of you. So yeah, it's exciting. So many things are shifting, and you're not alone. So many people are going through this. And it's crazy because it's at the beginning. It feels to me like this is going to be like a 4-year journey. That's like the number that keeps popping out, which is funny because I guess that's like kind of foundations actually. But it feels like this phase of needing the construction to start happening, and right now we're slowly dismantling, and it feels like we're kind of at the forefront of this, because we're able to hold that space for the people that, let's say, have not done the work or don't have that level of awareness and are more reactive to it, or why is this happening to me, or holding on to that energy. And we're the complete opposite. It's like, no, let go, live in flow, allow your life to
Mm.
happen. These opportunities are coming to you to actually help you and your growth and assist you in that expansion. But the more you resist it, the worse it gets. So I feel like that's kind of the energy we're preparing for, is like, yeah, like a little bit of chaos for people that have just been really conditioned to not understand their feelings or how to move through them or how to feel them. Yeah.
Anybody that is locked in or connected with major news media outlets or public service announcements from government and stuff like this, people that are locked into mostly just main news, um, you cannot, traverse this new ground while still listening to this stuff because it is so polarizing. It keeps playing into that polarity. It keeps making you buy into that chaos without realizing it. You think you're informing yourself on whatever's happening around you because we're in such a fear-based culture right now. There's so much fear from, and I'm noticing it now. I even noticed and my thing, what I recently got rid of all the politics, thank goodness, um, was even I realized I was buying into a side. I was picking a side. I was picking a side that I seemed to agree with more, even though I knew I didn't agree with them all the time. And I was thinking I was right, and I was thinking I was knowing things, and it just kept plunging me deeper into this chaos and deeper into these conversations, these confrontations, where I would just leave feeling completely drained. And that's where I realized that people need to tune out everything around them and go inward, and that's the only way to be able to accept this new ground and all of these shifts happening. Is it's
Yeah.
just there's so much external that is trying to stop us from going inward. That's how it feels to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like, there's so many things to unpack there. Just to simplify it, I see um, those programs and those sides to choose as a frequency and a resonance. And some of them are very fear based. And if that's the only channel you subscribe to, and that is your source of knowledge, as opposed to feeling that information as a resonance, and it's like, do I feel like that's true, or do I agree with that? And being able to question it without any judgment or an opinion, really just to observe what's being said as opposed to subscribe to that channel, I think is huge, because so many people, again, pick a side and it becomes so judgmental, and then it's combative and people against each other, and that's just a bunch of opinions and people trying to prove their opinions and what they've learned. And again, it's like, you're missing the entire point. It's not about either or, it's about feeling that resonance, feeling that fear, or feeling that truth behind it, and not actually picking a side. You can become aware, but it's really about learning how to listen to everything that's being said, because if you can't listen, you can't hear. And that's the whole point of what we're talking about, is like learning how to listen to your energy and your body again. So choosing what energies you're literally, I see it as a house, again, foundation of like, what energy are you inviting into your home? And would you allow that type of person into your home? Would you
Mm.
allow that type of energy into your space? Or would it set your alarm system off? Or, just like, to put it into kind of context, it's like, choose who you want in your home, choose the energies at its refinement of what you want to build your foundation with. So, yeah, that aspect of like picking a side and just people pinning it against each other, it's brutal. It's so heavy. That's why this work is so important, because when you're doing this, you're building that foundation, and that comes from you and the work you've done and from going within. And that's unshakable. And that brings up a lot of fear within someone else who has not developed that type of relationship. when we were talking about relationships earlier, it's not just with family. It's literally about everything, about the food you eat, about the people in your life, about your job. Everything in life is a relationship. So the one you have with yourself and the energies that you've built and created the foundations from is so important right now. And if it's not in the alignment of love, there's going to be a leak, there's going to be cracks. And of course, we're human, and it's always like hills and valleys and leaps and waves. And it's really about understanding how to observe those thoughts, how to move through those energies, as opposed to like reacting from them and observing them, so that you can be better at holding space or better at listening to someone. You have nothing to prove. When someone is in their truth, you don't need to prove yourself. They don't need to do anything. They know who they are. And again, it's truth and knowing. And that's the internal work. So unfortunately, that energy is usually a match for people that have done this work, and attracting people that tend to explode on them, which is why now it's like, utilize the energy that's available to you and continue to support yourself to build those foundations. The tools have been given to you in the form of energy, and they come through in the form of your feelings. So pick them up, feel them all, and start using that to create your home with, your foundation with. And immediately you will know when something is not a match, whether that, again, is the relationship you have with the news or with your family or your job. When something's out of alignment, basically, you will know. And now you've built yourself up enough to make the adjustments needed to let that go, because it's not in alignment, and you understand how much of an effect that has on your energy and what you've come here to create, so that you can make that space and that room to bring in a match to you, because you've made that feeling and that emotion from that knowing, and your reality will shift and match.
Oh, very, very well said. And I see a really good question in the comments from Holistic Holiday. And Holistic Holiday, are you a Spanish speaker? I see the question marks at the beginning and the end of the question. Um, wow, Zach, let's take a shot at answering that. How can we move through dissonance without otherizing one another? Wow, that is a really good question.
Yeah, that's a hard one, actually.
I think the first thing that came to mind was, and I actually learned this from you from the last time we hung out, is you said that um, you have to respect everyone's journey. You have to respect, even though it's somebody who is projecting negative things on you and trying to drag you down, you have to respect they have the right to live within that vibration. You have to respect that. And when you said that, it struck deep inside me. I was like, wow, that's a really good way to look at it, because it's like we're not going to see eye to eye. Clearly, we're not on the same frequency, but it doesn't mean I have to look down at you. It doesn't mean I have to feel bad for you either, even though it's like you're missing out on so much by being in that frequency. You just have to honor and respect each soul's journey. And I think that's the best way I can answer that question. That's a very good question.
Yeah. And again, if you're trying to prove your point, you're doing the same thing that
Yeah.
they're doing, or you're coming at it from a sense of judgment. But it's hard, especially when you want the best for other people and you can see so clearly from what you're feeling from them what's happening, and you're like, why are you doing this? um, and again, using your discernment to be like, am I being judgmental right now, or am I just feeling their energy, and discerning between the two. So the way I see it is like, we share the physical planet, but there's other dimensions, there's other frequencies you can subscribe your own source or your own channel to. And one is really rooted in fear, and one is really rooted in love. And that doorway has opened now. So it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. The work that matters always comes down to your own self. So again, not needing to prove anything. You are on your own journey. You can hold space for someone else while they're going through it, while having your own boundaries to not just like take that abuse from someone else. and understanding that there's kind of two realities existing. That's what I was saying. Like if you're empathic and you're feeling this energy that we're talking about, it's only going to intensify because you're going to feel when there's two energies in the room that are not a match. So the boundaries that are needing to be made are like very clear. When you feel that, you know it right away. um yeah, and it's like it's challenging because you just want the best for people and what they're doing, but everyone has free will. You cannot take that away from anyone. And that's really where that compassion comes in, not in an ignorant way, but just understanding that you can be whatever energy you want to be. It doesn't matter how low vibrational or high vibrational it is. It's the same concept of just accepting someone for their being wherever they are on their own healing journey is what it comes down to. So I think the takeaway from this is like having discernment, but learning compassion with boundaries.
I
Yeah.
hope that answered the question. Holistic Holiday, I see them a little response in the comments.
Oh,
I'm glad
everyone's
that
so
you asked
lovely.
that question.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hi, Nikki. I love it. Thank you for everyone that's here.
Yeah, this has been fantastic. I don't even know what time it is. It's
Oh
almost been
my
an
God,
hour.
it's been almost an hour. What? No way. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys for the questions. That was amazing.
I think I might have missed. Hmm? Well, Zach, I mean, is there anything else you wanna leave the people with? I mean, I've uh, I've gained a lot from this, and it's a lot of fun, and I want to do this more with the guests I have on the podcast to just kind of have a follow up little live and just tap into. It's just like the episodes are recorded a little bit in the past, so people listening to them today, that was us from that was in February. I think we recorded that
Wow.
like
Yeah.
mid February. So much growth has happened since, and is there anything you want to leave us with before we hop off? I mean, we can conclude it with a little flow before we get off. Moving forward, I guess, with these shifting times, with these naps, with setting
Yeah.
boundaries, with continuing to be heart-centered beings.
Yeah. Um, Honestly, the last thing I would say, just from like what I've been picking up on, is it's time to live in your resonance and it's time to live in your being. And the foundations of your reality are shifting, whether that's physically or the work that you're doing on your own self. And if it's not in alignment, yes, make those shifts, make those changes so that you can bring in and restructure. Honor your body and what you're feeling, and understand that there's a new relationship that's being formed with your energy and your emotions, and that takes time to integrate. And the more that you tap into this, and I know everyone that's watching this is on their own journey, it's fast. This is a fast road. A lot of times you hear the word ascension and that process, or spiritual awakenings, and it's again this resonance. So unlocking this information from conversation and from what we're saying to assist and help your growth, and know that your being requires um, it requires different things from you. It's literally your temple, and it's being brought up and made very apparent about what those shifts are and about what is needing to be changed in your own life. So just like support yourself, love yourself as you're going through it. This work is intense, it's hard. It's only going to get more intense for the people that have not been doing this work, meaning we are also going to be holding so much space for everyone that has not been. So if you're out of alignment, like, don't feel guilty. Take that time to have a nap or to accomplish nothing or to just like nurture your body or self-love, like whatever it is, like just sit in your own energy. This is the time to really reflect and like go within.
And these energies, this inward, this source is available at any moment, and it doesn't matter. There's nothing. Actually, that was another thing I remembered from the podcast. I remember saying in it that I used to think that our energies were being intentionally suppressed, and in the podcast, I realized that that wasn't the case. And I might have to take that back a little bit. I actually do feel like there is an intentional suppression going on, but the reality of it is you can turn to it at any time. You can tune out those negative forces that are trying to suppress you, and you can access the heart at any given moment. And in that sense, there is no suppression because this is a power that we have that can never be taken away. It's always there, and we can always tap into it.
Yeah, and remembering who you are and your energy and how you feel is so empowering when you start stepping into that and tapping into it, and understanding it's time to be accountable for your being and your actions, your level of consciousness, how you treat others, how you feel about yourself. They're all there to teach you. And that is why this work is so important. It's like on top of having a day job and a life and everything else, it's like there's this whole other side to our soul and our energy body that is is so available to us. And when you develop this awareness, like everything is a teaching tool for, like I said, like your growth and expansion. And it's whatever channel you want to subscribe to, whatever resonance that is. This isn't a physical, tangible thing. This is all about the source of energy your being is operating from, and the level of awareness and consciousness you fuel those thoughts with, or that way of being. So basically, it's like this is a time to take your power back, is what I'm saying, if you so
Absolutely.
choose.
Absolutely. Make that choice. And everybody that was watching or is still watching, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. I encourage you to listen to the podcast that Zach and I recorded. It was very fun to do a little follow up. And man, I send love at the world. I send love at everyone. I send love inward, and things just things are just better that way. It's just such a
Yeah.
more wholesome way to live.
So true. Thank you for that opportunity. This was amazing. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Also, I've never done a live, so I don't know. Like, can you record this, or is it just like deleted when you sign off? Does anyone know?
Because I was on for like 20 seconds earlier and then jumped off, I can post it to my IGTV, so I can do that if you'd
Oh,
like.
okay, sweet. Yeah, I feel like there's so much information in here that would be so beneficial.
Absolutely, yeah. I will opt to keep it posted on my IGTV.
Okay, sweet. Oh, thank you, everyone. I love you for everyone who tuned in. So much love.
Who do we got in the chat still? Or we still got Logan, Janet, Sapano. Sapano, great to see you still here, my friend. Sapano and I have a podcast coming out in a couple of weeks.
Oh, so
And
beautiful.
Elena, thanks so much for everybody for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so much support. Okay, amazing. I love you guys.
All right, Zach.
All right.
Oh, Tommy, you just joined. I'm sorry, Tommy. We're signing off.
That's what the recording's for.
That's what the recording is for.
So funny. Okay, thank you, Daniel.
Of course, Zach. You have a great rest of your evening, and wherever anybody else is in the world, you enjoy the rest of your day.